Yes, indeed, we are back. Welcome back to Mad Poor Podcast Live. You are here. I am the Mad Poet, Alex Murdoch, and we have Strings, aka Mr. String Theory,
Yes, sir.
ready to venture down this rabbit hole of sorts. How you doing, Strings?
I'm good, man. Had an amazing day.
Hey, I love to hear stuff like that, man.
Yeah, I'm off. Wisdom's flying in with urgency. Aye.
Hmm.
Yeah, man.
Taking advantage of the good times.
Oh, most definitely.
Has to be done, man. Has to be done.
And this
Positive.
is part of it.
Oh man, I've been looking forward to it. Um, but yeah, man, I had a positive weekend myself.
Please share.
Yeah, I was in Oxford yesterday,
Yes, I saw.
and there was a festival going on, like a book festival, arts and stuff. And they had organized performance there for
Hmm.
to share poetry, and there was it included an open mic, so I was one of the featured poets there.
Yeah,
Gave your boy a quick 12 minutes, so
mash it up,
got
as
to
they say.
yeah, man. It was fun. It was nice. It was great. Just being. And you know what it is? It was lit in terms of the sun was nice, and
Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
setting was great.
Mm.
The setting was nice. They had a little like a little pond on the side and stuff, or we call it a river. They had like a little bridge to go over and stuff
Yeah.
like that. I didn't bother with that because I'm here for business. But it was just nice being in a nice setting for poetry.
Mm.
And they even had they even set up a little platform, like a stage. I think you saw the picture where like people, which they sort of just kind of broke down, and once everything was done, but
Hmm.
that's where everybody just pretty much performed. A little bit tricky because obviously this Oxford, so and I got caught in traffic leaving London, but I managed to get there
Oh,
in
man.
time.
Yeah.
Managed to get there in time, and yeah, man, it was just nice seeing people, and um, they even had kids. It was like a compilation of different schools,
Oh,
and
wow. Okay.
these that was a part of like a anthology type of story anthology they have, where they
Mm.
just kind of like they just wrote their stories, and they're all in this in books and stuff like that.
Hmm.
So that was a part of the little sections in between, and then he still had the reason and stuff going on. So it was great.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, man, it was just nice, just be in different places. As
Absolutely.
we were in London, so we don't necessarily get to venture
Just
out.
in the just in the mix.
Yeah, yeah, and got to meet some people that I've got to know. A good friend of mine was there, Julian Stannard. I was at his book launch last
Oh,
month
amazing.
or 2 months ago. Um, I don't remember the day. I think it was 17th of June. That's right. Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
Okay.
that's when he had his book launch. And yeah, man. Funny enough, I've not too long finished his book, so that was good. I enjoyed that. It's one of those books where it's just like a spoof, a university spoof kind of thing.
Ha.
And he was just, oh my god, man, it's pure jokes. I even left him a review, man.
Oh,
And
amazing.
yeah, I didn't even tell him. I didn't even have a chance to speak to him about the book, but it was great to catch up with him. I did
Hmm.
manage to come in time to see him read, because he was a featured artist as well. So he went up before I did.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Then there was a lady went up to perform,
Hmm.
and then there was this guy. He sort of like sang these old school, very off script songs. When I say off script, yeah,
Yeah.
I'm not even talking about just like, you know what are the, you know how they those football hooligans have them songs, but it's like one of those football
And
football political hooligan
yeah,
type of song. It was that type of
man,
thing. Where it's just like,
that's a
yeah, man.
different
I
energy.
was on stage, and all I heard is like shit, shit, glorious shit. Where he's talking about, it's just like the water. That was about the water. And
Yeah.
he's just got to the point where he's just like, he's talking about shit, water, separation, etc., etc.
Mm.
Cleaning water. So it's a shit, glorious shit.
Wow, he's funny. But you need them,
Yeah,
man, you know.
you do, man. It's sort of like an icebreaker, just like, just spell it
Mm.
down from all the heavy stuff that the poetry
Yeah,
talking.
yeah, exactly. It's
Yeah, I
not light
mean,
work we do, man.
nah, bro. So that was fun to hear. And then we had call it, I can't remember the place, but uh I think the place is called Papua,
Okay.
and they it was kind of like a band, sort of like a family band, and they had three women, and there was a man. He was playing the guitar.
Yeah.
It was like there was the younger girl. Had like a little African drum,
Okay.
and there's two women, older women. They had like guitars. I think one of the lady composed the songs, and they were just singing like it was all kind of like rebellious songs,
Yeah.
singing about freedom and stuff like that. That was one of the pictures I shared as well, where they were on the
Right.
stage in colors and stuff like that. And it's just their country's going through a sort of colonization process. I don't want to speak too much on it because I need to know what I'm talking about, and I don't know
Mm.
enough. But that was interesting to just hear them share as well. And there was actually even an open mic because I stayed to watch open mic as well. There was decent quality poets from London and just around the globe. Because even my friend Julian Stannard, he's from Southampton, but he
Oh,
gets about.
wow.
Yeah, man. It was good. It was good.
Mm.
But
No,
that was kind
definitely,
of
man.
like the main gist of it, man. I appreciate just being there,
Yeah.
and appreciate Marion Eastwood, which was the lady that invited me to come and say a few words, and she had her book published that she was sort of showcasing as well. It's
Mm.
called Secret Codes. Um, yeah, so that was interesting, man. So it was nice. That was the first place I've been out to since I put this book out there. So I was pleased to be there, pleased to share, and something different because if I wasn't doing that, I would have been, how I do strings back at the
Mm.
coffee shop, man, just getting it in as I do. Those are the only times I really get out or be
Yeah.
like, you know what, I'm gonna call it for today. And so yeah, that was pretty much how I spent my
Yeah, no, I can see it. It's important, bro. Like it's a big part of what you do. It adds to like how you experience what you do as well. Do you know what I'm saying? And this weather's been terrific. So it just literally adds light to all the little things that you do and it just adds that enjoyment and enthusiasm. Do you get me? So
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And I always appreciate people really resonate with what I had to share, especially
mm,
because it's from the book. It wasn't necessarily a performance; it was a
yeah.
book reading. because certain places you go, you just, as you know, you read the crowd, and for me, it wasn't necessarily a place where I thought necessarily to perform.
Mm-hmm.
So I just read from the book. So I did do one, but that was Little Black Boy, which was from the first, but only because I had two books ready,
Okay.
um, which I had kind of just sitting on the shelf to people that wanted to buy books. So yeah, that was that. But without further ado, I got someone for you, Strings.
As you do.
All right, this is the quote for today. Greed, as the bloody knees, I need feast. Feed me air, please. Dribbling with a water mouth. I'm extra bloody from my last meal. Grey goes the dead skin between my teeth, so grotesque it's muddy. Driven by the need to see white meat. I predict a treat. I'm demented until my ascension. I'm warped as the head of a demon. But all I need is to feed greed. Yeah, that's it. A bit heavy.
Yeah.
A bit heavy.
Yeah. For sure.
A bit heavy.
And I think, I appreciate you sharing it in relation to the title. So I'm definitely seeing, like, I don't even know if it's intentional, but the string in the last topics that we've had, breaking down different things.
Yeah.
But initially, the first word is just, it's, man. A lot of people could argue about how strong that emotion is. I think it might be the strongest, if not kept in check. It will ruin lives quickly. But it's so compelling because it's such a strong driving force as well.
Yes, it certainly is, man. Real talk. Real talk. So let me paint a picture for you. See where I came from with this. So I'm thinking, well, the reason why I use greed or this whole quote to illustrate where I'm going with this is, I think it's merely just a facet of what we are, and you can argue life on Earth itself in different ways that it comes in different animals, shape or forms. But we can focus on just human beings because we are the dominant in this current time and space for a long time now. And I'll say it's a facet of who we are. Do you get what I mean? To say that this is only one of the many things that can be somewhat destructive that that comes with the traits of being a person, being a human kind of thing. So with that being said, at the same time, with life and everything that comes with it, seems to me that we are capable of more. Don't get me wrong, we are capable of more. But for the most part, at least from the viewpoint that I'm painting this picture, it seems to me that as much as we are evolved, we are somewhat, for the most part, still driven by, you could call it survival instincts.
Yeah.
As much as we desire to live, it seems to me that the desire to survive is always greater.
Yeah.
And with that being said, it seems that these facets of our darker or somewhat prone to be off balance and somewhat destructive tendencies, it's always it's always the ability the it's always able to get the better of us for the most part in the end. So hence the question: are we beyond saving? Is it too late? You know, to save
Say from
because
what?
from destruction, from destruction.
Caused by
Because
caused by
that's where we're heading, aren't we? Because
mm,
let's think of it like this. Let's think of it like this. If you can't save yourself, then you're prone to destroy yourself. It's one or the other.
okay, yeah.
And
It's
that's where
the
I'm heading with
yeah,
this.
it's that's the game. What's the saying? You're dead. After 25, you're not living,
Mm,
and the whole how many dreams are buried in a cemetery kind of thing. That's the
yeah,
broad version, but it hits home naturally for us because it one aspect is if you're not doing something that gives you life, not purpose, but
It's
life,
22 hours.
um, then it's like what are you doing, so to speak? And I have thoughts where merely existing, paying bills, is very similar to survival instincts. If I don't pay this, if
yeah,
I don't take care of that, then and it deserves always to be brought into the conversation because if you don't, you know, yeah.
yeah,
But I think the distraction comes if you don't challenge what saving yourself looks like repeatedly.
mm, yeah,
And from the last session we had, I think I remember saying how after you achieve something,
yeah,
there's more, but it's the more where people struggle with. And
mm,
could one equate that to greed? Maybe. But if kept in check, like all emotions, they have a thin line. But being kept in check is what makes life interesting enough for you to know that if you're doing what again gives you life, you're being saved.
yeah. Well, from what I see, it's crazy because from what I see, right, a lot of times when you see people in positions of power or positions to somewhat um, help others or to that degree, like really do something great,
Mm,
more times than not, they probably choose the latter. They actually want the opposite. They actually want to destroy. They actually want to pillage. They actually want to abuse their power.
mm,
Not to say that there aren't people that actually use their
right.
power
Yeah.
for good and all that kind of stuff. But again, it strikes to me that there's always a tendency, there's always a fighting battle inside, this internal battle where somebody's always trying to fight their nature to be better.
Mm.
Now that also asks the question, what is your nature really? If you're having to fight.
Uh, mm. The fight is your ego.
Hmm. Let's explore that a little bit. Okay.
Let's.
let's go into
Yeah,
let's
let's
explore
you're in the rabbit hole with my
because we got
G. Yeah.
yeah we got from greed to ego. All right,
Mm.
explore the ego.
So in the yeah, um, w- ancient texts say that when man is born, he's born with an ego, and until he has dominion over his ego, his way of life is
Yeah,
always apprehensive, um, and it's the most complex thing, or one of the most complex things in existence for man because of how layered it goes. Like it just keeps running. Like you think
yeah,
you grab it and then it's like, ha, you missed. And it's like, oh, so your nature is what feels right to you. It's easier to spot when you're a child,
yeah.
because of the purity that you have. But I wrote
Mm,
this in my piece that I just shared on my blog that as you grow, we naturally pick up traits and habits in order to coexist in the environment that we're in. Um, so they
yeah,
heavily thwart your nature, like
mm,
massively to the point where if you think about who you were 10 years ago or when you was a child to now, you're like, naturally you see such a gap that you're not the same person. But the trajectory of where you go as you do age in this body determines the quality of perspective and the outlook you have of the decisions that you've made to get to where you are.
yeah,
So plainly, you can see how the more wiser you get with age, you start to be
yeah,
more conscious of the decisions you have to make that lead to distraction, i.e., low self-esteem, not being true to yourself, or ultimately finding out how to let go of certain traits so that you can have a better relationship with yourself.
yeah. I'm interested because a lot of these things, even self-esteem and stuff like that, these things, it's never it fluctuates. It's never just a stable going thing
Mm-mm.
consistently all the time. So my question is like, how do you fight? Like, how do you some people? And I'm not saying that people that actually know how to figure it out. How would you help people that don't necessarily know how to find their way out of like swimming
You know
on the
what?
bottom of the barrel?
I'm glad you asked that because initially, um, before I even get to saying what they should do, I'd want to identify if they even want to get out.
But then that's another thing, isn't it? That's another thing
Mm.
because to me, it's so you're basically saying to me that you're so consumed by the survival aspect of things
People don't want to be
that
saved.
you've lived. uh, That's you don't want to be saved. That's all you know, and that's all you want to
Mm.
know. But again,
For someone who
it comes
does.
it comes back to what we how I started. If you're not gonna save yourself, then you're prone to destroy yourself.
Mm.
In that survival situation, because that is a survival situation, you can't stay for a prolonged period. Something's got to go. Something's got to give, and obviously it's gonna be you. Let's be real.
Yeah. And that is also the hardest thing for people to let go of this identity that they have of themselves. Um, so after I identify if someone does want to figure a way out of
Mm,
how to swim, so to speak, is uh, pick up a book that speaks on the topic of where to start. And I think the most beautiful thing about information finding you is it. I genuinely live by the saying: when you're ready, the master will appear.
Mm.
And with that saying, it means when you get that feeling, that knowing that says, you know what, I need to read up on this. I'd have to find an answer. I'm curious enough
Yeah.
to start. It comes out of nowhere. And then you follow that journey, i.e., the rabbit hole of how to start putting a piece on the puzzle. And then it just becomes a tutorial. Okay, you start to become more, you have a lot of light bulb moments. Follow those moments. That's what I
Mm.
say. Because boy, I was stuck assuming everyone was just like, yeah. And
Yeah.
then I've gotten older. Not I don't even want to say older. I put more time and
Yeah.
practice into what the things I've come across, and I said, you know what? Who am I to make this assumption? So naturally, it forced me to take a further backseat to observe myself and people
Yeah.
in the same situation, so that I can say, why was I responding like that um, when you're seeing signs that people aren't trying to listen to you? So when someone isn't trying to listen to you, you naturally say, you know what, this conversation's it's over.
Yeah. Correct. Correct. I appreciate that. So this is where I'm at with it,
Mm,
because I think to a certain level, these we can kind of fish it out, but it's also it's just as relevant. So I want to definitely tap into that.
mm,
But let's explore this part of it as well. What happens when it's not so simple, where the power that you're wielding is not so easy to grasp and nullified or expanded? What happens when you're on a level, a different echelon, where your level is on a thousandfold grand, more grand? I'm talking about when we're speaking about a president, somebody with that can end a city and a country at a push of a button. But he's got an ego problem. But he's got an anger problem. Like, he's
mm.
bloodthirsty. He's got no balance. He wants war, and there's nobody to keep him in check. Like, that's literally a monster at your door in the middle of the night, in the blink of an eye, and there's nothing you can do about it. And there's no anchors. How do you cope with somebody like that?
In the world I live in,
Just in theory, because
okay, all right. I mean, yeah, naturally, depending on the information I come across, survival, I would be like, oh shit, what's gonna happen? You go through that. Um,
yeah,
but then once you get exhausted of doing that, it's like, well, if it's gonna happen,
yeah,
innit? Naturally, because I'll die quicker if I force myself to think about that continuously.
mm,
And then the funny part is when you've not had enough, you go and get
yeah,
others involved. Hey, why aren't you why don't you feel how I feel about this situation? They probably do, but it's like, look, I've got my own world, mate. You've got yours. He's got his. What are we gonna do? Like, do you know what I mean? Like until it gets to a point where we have to take it there and pull up,
yeah.
then do you know what I mean? Work on yourself because I'm not.
I tell you where I'm at.
Mm,
To me, this is what genocide looks like. This is what mass shootings, mass killings is where it starts. You know, the fascists, all these, the Marxism, there's all these type of people that they have these superiority complex. It's somewhat infectious because you're gonna have followers regardless, and these followers are going to multiply. And one you wake up and you say, you know what, I don't want anybody that refuses my ruling or want anything but my vision to succeed. To me, that's a monster's face right there. Because that's somebody that's in a position. Sorry?
That's one side of it.
Yes, it is. But this is the side that could potentially destroy everything. And that's why I think it's so bad. Yes.
I mean, yeah, physically cool. Like, but
physically, I mean,
yeah,
we're gone, aren't we?
Absolutely. But I always find it interesting about how they are secluded for a reason. They don't have the same. Definitely, like they just because they have the reach to communicate who they are. This man can't just go there and say, "Hey, I have questions that you should answer," because if they come down into the pit of where the rest of us are, they're going to have to face reality differently. Example: when a politician comes on TV and people who are on these platforms asking about, so what are you going to do about the financial crisis that we're in? And then this man says, well, I couldn't live on the wages of someone that makes 28K a year. I have a mortgage. I have 2 mortgages to pay. Now, a man who's in that position to have 2 mortgages and to be able to make political decisions, do you think me and him live the same life? No. So after a while, you're going to have to start thinking, you're just educated. You're not smart. You're repeating things that you've been told to repeat in order to stay in the position that you are, but you have no idea what reality is like. So that helps give me peace because it's just like you have this ego problem to deal with, not the rest of us. That's why they keep themselves in those positions, because they're willing to do things that the rest of the people aren't. We want to bring peace and have affordable housing and jobs. They just want to keep having their egos tickled.
And as much as, you know, that's a point. Like you said, it swings both ways. But there's only one way that is somewhat irreversible, and that's the destructive way.
Their man can't be saved. That's my opinion.
But that's the point, though. They are in positions to make mass impact.
That's where this thing I call the game comes in.
Okay, explain it.
It's the game of life. It makes it something so contradicting as people in those positions. Ironically, if everything was kumbaya, this world would not be the way it is. What purpose would there for you to keep knowing who you are if everything is fine? There's no conflict, there's no debate, because as much as those people are in those positions, like you said, there are also people who are in those same organizations who put their blood on the line and sweat and say, look, I don't have as much leeway, but I would do everything in my power and get people behind me to stop certain laws being passed. Some get swept under the rug, and some still say we stopped something that could have been way worse. So those people who came from the same pit of reality as us, or those who want to make change, are in those positions fighting that fight.
Okay. So I'm glad you went there, because now, really and truly, what is that? What makes us so different from the lions or the wild, where it's savage by nature, and of course we're on a more evolutionary, developing ways of communicating and going about a business.
Hmm.
But when you really rationalize and simplify everything, and I know I'm somewhat oversimplifying everything to this comparison, but at the same time, what makes us any different from them? When at the end of the day, to a certain degree, we're still just reacting or doing things on basic instincts.
I think what makes not much actually, and I think again that's the beauty of it, because we're down here, and when I say down here, we're in the real world, um, navigating
Yeah.
these absurd conditions that they place, and I still pop up and be swagged out and say, look, this ain't bothering me, but it's real life. I'm not gonna act like it doesn't exist. But
Mm.
if you give a man or woman power in those shoes, those same things that we fight every day to keep at bay will come up indefinitely in those same situations. But not everyone is going to come back here to figure out how to fight um, those things that make us different at that level. That is extreme, like very extreme. But
Mm.
at the same time, someone fighting an addiction to something
Yeah.
is also just an extreme in my eyes. Just because they don't have a red button to push, don't mean that they can't end it all and their family by the decisions that they make or ending themselves, which is just as destructive. But because people can't see differently on like this guy's in control of X, Y, and Z, and this
Yeah.
person is just some junkie. I'm like, well, if you gave someone in that position some crack, he's gonna do some crazy things. Like,
Get it.
no, if you give the
No,
right,
but yeah.
yeah. So that's where I'm at with it, man. That's really where I'm at, and I try and
I mean, go on. I'm listening. Go on.
yeah. I was just gonna say that that's what makes us all complex and unique at the same time. It's like I would, whoa, like that's overwhelming, like
Mm.
absolutely overwhelming. But I've got my own things that I need to face here right now.
Yeah.
And I can't do that if I'm worried about some man who I don't see unless I have to run to a parade. And essentially, that fear will make me subservient, be a good
Mm.
citizen, don't offend anybody. And I've never seen the man.
Mm.
That brown letter that comes
I
through the
mean,
door,
yeah, yeah.
mm, that's doing the work for him without
You see,
even speaking to you.
essentially what I'm saying though is that, with all being said, it's still kind of making my case for me, in a sense where these are all forms of potentially destructive trajectory, directions, and sometimes it seems to me that we're going so far in one direction that I wonder sometimes, are we able to pull ourselves back in time.
No,
Do you get what I mean?
absolutely not. We're not, man.
It's
We here
like you have
now.
Joker at the wheel of life, like laughing, and he's just on it. He's just on it, just going down a black hole. Like, hey, come with me on this ride.
Bro, I'm there. I'll be so real. I'm there. Because I've gone through that. I've looked back and I'm like, oh, cool. Perspectives change, but my actions can't.
Real talk,
So
real talk.
if I want this perspective to keep evolving, what part of me
Mm.
am I going to let go of to catch up and not fall into those traps of what comes with perspective? Or, like you said, because perspective holds a lot of power as well. I've seen some people or good examples of when they're too far gone, and it's like, mate, what you forgot what balance is. Do you know what I mean? So,
Mm.
um, yeah, we're definitely like, yeah, man, we finished, we cooked, we cooked, bro. That's what makes it
I think
interesting.
this the other part of it that somewhat makes things a bit even more real for me.
Mm,
A lot of times when you see people are dictators or like they're like mother of all destructors, etc.
hmm
Like that normally they they didn't start out like that. They start out with a good cause, a righteous cause, a cause that was supposed to be for the greater good.
A very small example in that scenario that you're talking about. Very small. The rest are born to be on smoke.
But let's think like this, right?
Mm,
I mean, I would say it's a minority that's born into abundance. The rest of us have to create it or put our mindset there, and then from there we sort of ingratiate
right.
ourselves.
So I'm glad you said that. So with you learning how to wield that power, what also comes with that?
Responsibility, yeah,
And someone who's given it to it and not knowing
yeah.
what they have, they squander.
But not everybody's in that position. Not everybody cares about responsibility. Not everybody
True.
wants to hold that talk.
And I'm glad.
But but
Mm,
it doesn't mean they're not given, like we're saying, like I didn't want to say the name, the little guy type of powers. You got what I mean?
mhm.
Like I'm talking about mass destructive type of power.
Oh, that's how can I say, man? That's a construct in itself. Because to me, real destructive power is the elements of nature. When a tornado comes, everyone knows, I don't care what language you speak, that's gonna, you get me.
I agree with you, but this is the thing, right? That's that's somewhat out of your control for one. So there's no point even worrying about that. You can only do preventative measures.
Why not?
But also, I would argue the potential of men being destructive is probably more because we can end the planet can go to hell in a basket kind of thing.
Yeah,
Everybody can die at one time type of thing. Whereas the planet is sort of like it's like a moderator. You know, it just regulates
what, the planet?
the typhoons and all kind of stuff.
Absolutely.
Natural disasters. That's like a regulator
Yeah, I 100%
in
agree.
the way it works. But when you send like a missile like Hiroshima and thing like back in the day,
Mm,
that was straight belligerent tactics there. You get what
yeah,
I mean? It was just like I
definitely.
don't like you. You get what I mean? It's just like it's different. And that's like that's domino effect, and so many things are gonna follow prior to that. Do you get what I mean? So it's a lot of food for thought. I guess what I'm thinking about at this point, what we were discussing there is just the potential of it and what it could mean for I wouldn't even say our survival. It's just being saved from our own self. And the more and more I think, it seems to me that we're more we're more going towards the god of war. We are going towards Mother Earth, if you get my drift. We're more Aries as opposed to Gaia. Like it's
Yeah. But who
that type
wins?
of thing.
Who
We're not trying to save anybody.
and who wins in that case, no matter how long that war takes place? It's usually Gaia.
Yeah, but we have the capabilities and also the machinery to
Yeah.
hit that guy where it hurts.
Yeah. And I think that
Bearing in
is
mind, we're all gonna go.
yeah. What I think what's the word? Yeah, that is mankind is a tragedy. Its entire existence is tragic. Like you seek you seek power, evolution,
Mm.
but then I think the part that I believe can't be saved is when you see potential and you want to attain it anyway.
Yeah,
And with that, it's the whole notion of um, what man creates if he chooses to ignore the pre-warnings that come with what they create, they will suffer. So
mm.
like there's a special kind of thing in these people that have these ability to push these buttons that they ignore religiously. People who are put
Yeah,
into in those positions, no matter where you are on the planet, if they are okay with sharpening those tools and saying, "Yeah, it's
mm.
fine," that thing within them is way beyond survival instinct. And I see why you're touching on it because, um, like I said, for the everyday person,
Yeah,
um, you can argue about which cases, like I said earlier, do they tap into. But the more power, the more the more crazy you get, and I think that just makes sense. But um, again, not everyone is going to be in those positions, and that's by design. That's exactly by design. So one can think, but actually experiencing it, you lose your head. You'd absolutely lose your head.
yes. I mean, to what you just said, I think that's where sometimes we somewhat throw the whole concept of the God complex in there because of what
Yeah,
comes with that.
yeah,
With
yeah.
the higher
Mm.
power.
Yeah, man can't play God.
And
You'll find out
yeah,
very quickly.
yeah. But despite the facts that are, we would
Mm.
give it a goddamn good try, wouldn't we? You got me? So it doesn't matter what man can't do. It only matters what they're willing to try to do.
Yeah.
And the
Well,
one thing, the one, hold on, the one thing I would say that's
mm.
within our ability is self-destruction.
yeah, it's within. I agree, it's within all of us. Um, but I like the examples of how I relate because I can only speak for um that what really helps me see the disparity between that level and things that are destructive to people in our everyday communities, like a man that says, "I'll do
Yeah,
anything to get paid." Scary, like
I agree. I agree. It is scary. Um,
but that's more common and not as much as considered to that level because they're small fry. But I'm like, well, if you have a lot of people in that tribe, essentially, like that tribe can't get anywhere because it's like we've got a bunch of people that will betray and abuse and sacrifice everything to get paid, and it's like, well, and then when they get into, you know, power of some sorts to be a representative for that community, they end up tumbling.
yeah. Question.
Mm.
You mentioned, anything to get paid, sabotage, whatnot, whatnot.
Hmm.
Isn't that the norm?
Isn't that the
Is that the
norm?
norm?
Uh,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. To I think depends on. Yeah, again, man. I give you a meal, or under extreme condition, it will be down to every person will have a different response to that.
I don't know. I don't know. I hear what you're saying. But that's because the law of averages. That's what we're working with. So what would a majority do? I would
Oh,
say that's the norm.
oh yeah. So I mean, it would depend on the scenario, but if it's like betraying a friend, for example, a good friend,
Yeah.
most would,
Mm.
because
There
innately the
you
decision will be coming from survival instinct.
correct.
But going beyond that is that's when it starts to get, some screws are permanently loose. Like a man saying, "I'll do it for £100."
Again.
And it's like, okay,
Yeah.
you're really down bad. But yeah, bro,
Yeah.
I
Because
100% agree, man. Like,
mm,
yeah, from the highs to the lows of it all, like, um, we're not, yeah, we can't be saved, man, and I'm okay with that. I have come to terms with that because this world is not cupcakes and roses, man. This
yeah.
world is the way it is, and how we form ideas, who we are, and our opinions to these heinous acts that people want to hang over people. It's like, yo,
Yeah. True. True. So, all right. With that being said, what do you think about this statement? What do you think about this statement? We're fallible beings. We want war. We are imperfect. We thrive on degeneracy. We are madness personified,
yes, yes, we are.
and we cannot be saved.
Damn right. Damn right.
You know what? We should probably rename this doom and gloom because
Bro,
it's literally
bro.
going down that road. But that's where
Do you like
I
the
ended up
amount
in
of
the end.
work? And I don't even want to say impossible, but the amount of work it would take, amount along with the amount of people in this world, and then you take the word the norm. It's a huge amount. It's a huge amount. So when we're talking about power and how that's synonymous with responsibility, most people are like, nah, man, I don't want that. Keep that over there. Oh, but you'll get this. Nah, I'm cool. I want to go and do, the degenerate stuff because that makes me feel alive. So, like I said in the beginning, people will want to like chase things that make them feel alive.
Yeah, I mean, you said it because let's be real. You said it earlier on. You said responsibility. How many people you know that is willing to be disciplined? Because that's what comes with being responsible. How many people you know want to be disciplined? Let's be real about that. Willingly.
Depending on the outcome, not much. But people will be disciplined for their desires.
Yes, but I suppose you got a point there. But more times than not, being disciplined requires, well, the end goal is not necessarily, it's bigger than yourself. Meaning thinking beyond you, being selfless to a certain degree, I would say.
But that's
It
why.
might start with you.
Mm.
Might start with you, but it does become bigger than you normally.
Tell that to the ego. Ego don't care.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ego does not care.
Good. Good die young, so I guess
And it will tell you be this. That's why I say people will be disciplined to their desires.
Mm.
Man that
There's
love
this
girl,
part of it as well.
man that love money, status, being heard, being seen in a certain light. That takes dedication.
Yes, dedication.
And I admire it because I'm like, if that's what makes you feel of value, cool. But the discipline from the other side of that is what it takes to not fall into those traps. Because you become so reactionary to everything, i.e., self-destructive
tendencies. Yeah, man. Yeah, because if we're thinking about the animal kingdom, is somewhat like an effect of, comparatively speaking, that I see. Most animals don't live that long compared to humans.
That's just biology.
And not only that, not really. And not only that, because there's a lot of species that are like, if they continue the way they're going, yeah.
Oh, well, that's the thing, isn't it? There's more truth that's accessible about animals than there is about humans. And why is that?
Correct.
So if I skew the truth about humans and the it's a whole another kind of worms that people are like, wait, hang on. So that means this, and like, there you go. And when someone does try to share it, they get disposed of and ridiculed and said, hey, this is not part of the game.
Yeah. Because to me, that points to the fact that nobody wants to hear the truth or really want to contend with the real of what comes with responsibility.
Yeah, even I say even the truth comes with its own repercussions, so that's why it must be handled very carefully. Just because it's the truth doesn't mean that it won't get your ass lit up and be like, oh no, I was just telling the truth. And like, yeah, well, that doesn't excuse you from self-destruction as well. So it's a very it's delicate upon each circumstance and situation. The bigger the platform, the more counsel is needed. Like my dad always tells me, be a politician. Not so much the scamming, but being poised to know what to say, to be careful of the perception that you're sharing. And that
and
is,
as I said,
that's serious discipline.
Timing is everything, no doubt. Timing is everything. It's not just what to say; it's the time you say it. Yeah. So awareness. But then you go in another rabbit hole because there's so many things that comes with that. Awareness, knowledge, knowing what you're seeing, understanding, responding, not reacting. There's so many things.
Not easy, brother. Not easy. Especially when people on that side are trained to make you set off. You go on an interview platform today, big station, they're gonna be like, yeah, mate, everything you said, we're butchering it.
Correct.
That's mad. That's mad to me.
Yeah. But that's the way we are. And it's another form of destruction, of course, but this is what we're speaking about. And to that degree, we're not beyond saving that. So I just wanted to just lay that out there.
Yeah, man. I hear it.
All right, peeps. We're about to wrap this up. Strings, you got anything to say?
Yeah. Ego. Watch out, man. That is one slippery concept. So I'll just say, study that. It'll help you figure out a part of yourself that you thought was you, but actually isn't.
Real talk. All right, everyone. Thanks for tuning in.
Thank you.
Everybody that will watch this live, I've seen it. And yes, I will leave a link. Start sharing my work. Most recent Chaotic Ramblings will be in this link, in this description. Once I probably end up just finishing everything sometime tomorrow. But I appreciate everyone just listening to our thoughts.
Thank you.
Chain of traveling and verbiage. Thanks so much. Me and Strings. Have a good one. Thank you. Trying to find this belly button. Alright, we're not gone yet. Hold on. I can't find the button. Wait, I just clocked what it was. Alright. All good. Take care, everyone.